Chat Daddy Show. It's the real Chat Daddy Show. It's the real Chat Daddy Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show.
Wait, let me put you back in there. And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be back with you guys on the last Monday of April 2022. We have another great show planned for your viewing and listening pleasure this evening. Today is National Telephone Day. So we're going to talk about the telephone and how it has changed our lives over the years. We're going to go back and reflect on some of our fondest memories about the telephone and some funny stories. And then later on in the show, as you guys all know, April is Stress Awareness Month. And one of our favorite new guests who's been here with us before, mental health expert Nya B, will be back tonight. And she'll be talking to us about how do you combat stress on a daily level. We're all living in a stressful situation, from work, home life, relationships, even sometimes in your spiritual life, you're having a battle when it comes to yourself and other things. But speaking of someone who does not look like she's stressed at all tonight, and she looks amazing, is our co-host, the one and only Miss Kay Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. How are you, my dear? Good evening. Happy Monday. And what's good?
Oh, goodness. The fact that I'm with you, it's always good. But good evening to you. Good evening to our viewing audience on this last Monday in April. You know, again, as Chat Daddy says, National Telephone Day. I can't wait to tell some of my stories. But it's good to be the last. Oh, thank you, Miss Marguerite. Back at you. Here's my virtual hug to you. Hey, Scorpio love. Hello.
Hey.
Oh yeah, I love the chat. Yes, let's talk about his shirt. Good vibes, guys. Art always gives good vibes, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marguerite. But no, it's a very hopefully it'll be a very quiet week, because you know the next big holiday for both of us, it'll be very solemn, but it's Mother's Day,
right?
And you know, I'm still grateful I have my godmother, and I have a few older women that they have that maternal instinct, but it ain't nothing like
Mama. Your mama.
Ain't nothing like Nana, your grandmama.
That's right.
Okay?
Big mama. Mama.
That's right.
Muddy, any of those. Yes.
And Nana, but what I call my grandmother, my Nana, her name was Naomi. So she didn't like grandmother. She ain't like grandma. She said, "You call me Mama Naomi." And that's what I call her throughout her life. So,
very
good. That's our
very
next
good
holiday. And, you know, again, this has been a crazy weekend. I mean, even though Saturday was beautiful, do you hear me? 83 degrees. I got a chance to get out and you know, get the do done and be with some family members. Then yesterday was kind of it was a little iffy, but I just want to make sure you okay, because you know you had a crazy night last night.
I am fine. Thank you for asking. And like you said, Saturday was such a beautiful day. My friend and I spent the day out running around doing errands. We stopped and got ice cream before we came back home. It just was a wonderful day. And then yesterday, when the weather was kind of crappy, kind of stayed in bed late, took an extra nap. And we figured, you know, since it was so bad, I needed to do a lot of housework. I am in the process of switching over from winter attire to spring and summer attire. And you know how you have to do laundry, all of that. Day was perfect here in the house. We were both exhausted and tired. Was watching the 10 o'clock news last night, and they were talking about a situation that was going on downtown.
Yeah.
Well, lo and behold, I had the same situation going on out in front of my place. And I something just said, look out the window. And when I looked out the window, I was like, There's a man dressed like G.I. Joe outside the window. It freaked me out. And long story short, we just ended up going to bed because I just, I was like, I'm gonna put all this in God's hands. This has nothing to do with me. I'm just gonna go to bed, close all the windows, lock the doors, and move on. And so, of course, I had to get up today and handle some things. And so when we end this show tonight, I am getting me a pillow and a blanket, and I am going to bed. I am. So I'm exhausted, but glad to be here to do the show tonight.
I understand you, chat, because I had a report to get done. And literally, I was working on the computer all day yesterday, this morning, and was able to turn it in. So like you, as soon as we end this show,
yes,
my bed awaits.
Yes, my bed awaits as well too. Well, we have a lot to talk to you guys about tonight. It's been a lot going on since we were last here. As you guys all know, we're a health and wellness show. So we have to give you the latest COVID-19 update numbers. Just a couple of weeks ago, we were telling you guys, they're not going to be giving us the numbers every day anymore. And, we're moving on from COVID, yada, yada, yada. Well, the devil is a lie. COVID is back. There is a uptick in COVID cases here in the state of Illinois. Matter of fact, the virus cases have increased 40% from what they were. Illinois reported 3,119 new COVID cases in the last 24 hours, 0 deaths related to it, which is really good. The Illinois Department of Public Health treating the daily death reports as a cumulative number. So they're trying to take it for the last couple of days. So far here in the state of Illinois, we've seen 3,124,191 total COVID cases. This includes 33,581 cases of death during the pandemic. As of Sunday night, 688 people in the state of Illinois are reported in the hospital battling COVID-19. The most number of people in a hospital battling with this number was back in March 9th, when there was 715 people in the hospital. Of those 688 people, 77 of those people are in the ICU, and 23 of those people are on ventilators. And so I'm getting press releases from different people pitching doctors who believe that we should not be ditching the mask. A lot of people who are saying that this pandemic is truly not over, and we are going to see a considerable increase in number of cases. I was just talking to some people today. People were kissing on somebody, and I said, now, Lord, that was 10 different people kissing on this one person. And I said to myself, somebody had to pass a little Rona in there, or something that had to be spread. And it was a kiss of love and adoration and affection. But when you think about it, we're still battling this. You know what I'm saying? This is not over. And so, I know people who are now saying on social media, Rona done got me. I done got Rona, and again, people are not, oh Lord, I'm in the emergency room, or I'm on my deathbed. But people are battling from COVID-19 right now. And it is really true.
We talked about this. We've always been talking about this.
Yep.
We said we are not taking down the mask until November 2025. And what we say,
2025.
I won't be having voila.
Voila. Voila, voila. Yes, ma'am. Yes. Right.
And what's the funny part, Art? I was out and about with a family member who, does my hair. We went, her niece, who she's like my niece, we was like driving, and they wanted to stop and get some barbecue. Not that far from you, Uncle.
Okay.
Uncle
okay. Yes.
And we were in line. Folks looked at us like we had lost our minds.
Oh, absolutely. 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 Right. Yes. Well, remember when Ursula said last week she was in LA Fitness and she was in Trader Joe's, and people was looking at her like, lady, you crazy. And I'm like, look, you can look at me all you want. But see, here's the deal. When I went out Saturday, most people had masks on. People that did not have masks on, they kind of had tunnel vision and kind of was like, oh, I don't give a damn, or, you know, whatever the case may be. But you're not going to be able to shame me for wearing a mask. You're just not going to be able to shame me. I don't give a damn. If people wore Jerry curls for 30 years after they were over and people wasn't wearing them anymore, I'm going to wear a mask just like a Jerry curl for another 30 years.
That's it. That's it.
That's all. So,
That's
yes.
it.
All right. Well, you guys make your own decision and own choice about how you feel about that. If the numbers do continue to on an uptick, we will probably be having somebody on to talk to us. As I said before, a lot of PR people are pitching me to have doctors on that want to talk about why it's important that we continue to wear these masks as I blow my nose. All right. So what else is going on in news? Yes.
Well, I don't think we
COVID. No COVID.
No, that's right. You just clearing out your nose, Chad.
Yes,
just clearing out your nose.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, I know I mentioned this during my podcast on Saturday, but we didn't mention it when we were on last week. You know, Bill Murray, the comedic legend, he's under investigation for inappropriate behavior. And after his own film, I said, no, this man from Chicago. He's a glorified Cubs fan.
Yeah.
71, but apparently he's doing this. He's in this new movie called Being Mortal, but he's been suspended after a complaint was filed that said he had inappropriate behavior. So I'm like, what the hell is going on with these old men?
Okay, but I'm trying to figure out, like, what is inappropriate behavior? Because, you know, I tell people, I'm one of those people, like, I'm like, oh, thank you, dear, darling. I appreciate you. You know, I don't ever want, and I only do it with women that I know are cool like that, because most women know that I'm complimentary like that. But I don't know if older men say it in a creepy way, or is it?
I think with him, he's been making some inappropriate comments. Like, you do remember he played Bosley in Charlie's Angels.
Right.
Apparently this has been a habit where he is notorious for making enemies. He made some comments to Lucy Liu that were just inexcusable. And this is a quote: inexcusable and unacceptable comments on the set to her. And it took them a while for them to even speak after that.
Wow.
I don't know what to say about Bill Murray.
I don't know. I think is maybe the fame, the everybody's catering to him. You're such a superstar and celebrity. And I guess people think that they can say whatever they want to say and not have any ramifications for it. Now again, I'm not trying to co-sign this man's foolishness. I'm just saying, I think maybe that's what it is. Because I mean, even if we look at people in the world nowadays, the way people talk to each other on social media, the way people act. So, I mean, I don't know. You tell me.
Well, there's something to be. We need to have, I think, Art, you should think about having an etiquette expert, a kindness expert.
Yes.
Because we've gone away from just being kind to one another.
You are right about that. You are right about that.
Be kind.
Yep, you're right about that. You know, I
get it.
I was driving the other day, and you know how you let somebody in so they can turn in someplace, or you let somebody go across the street. And as I was driving, it was a lady trying to turn in somewhere. And I said to my friend, I said, listen, this lady is going to thank me for letting her turn in. An older lady, well-dressed, in a nice car. Now, let it be somebody in a car with tinted windows where you know what I'm saying? Let it be somebody car raggedy, all that. They're not going to thank you for anything. Almost like you did them a favor by letting them in. And I'm like, what is that all about? You know what I'm saying? So I get that. Yeah, you're right. We all things are off the table when it comes to being nice to people in this day and age. And people think you up to something when you're trying to be nice.
Right. You just really genuinely, when we were coming up, we were taught to respect your elders, say thank you, say please. And just, you know, if you see an older person who needs assistance crossing the street, help them out. Just ask nicely. You know, I just don't get it anymore. And as I've always told you, big brother, I stay prayerful each and every day.
Oh, I do too. I agree with you 100%. So the first sighting of Will Smith
Yeah.
was just on one of the entertainment programs that I was looking at just a few minutes ago. Was in India meeting with a showman or a guru or a spiritual leader. And here's the deal. Do we really think a yogi or somebody like that is going to help Will Smith? I think he is doing that to kind of show, oh, I'm trying to get healed. Oh, I'm so sorry for what I've done. You can go and let any of these pastors lay hands on you, or you know what I'm saying? Let any of these mothers pray over you, whatever the case may be. I think he's trying to do that to get back in good graces with people. Like, I went all the way to India to kind of get myself back in line.
You know, I agree with you. I'm sure when he was younger, he had a pastor or a minister to pray over him. So I don't know whether or not he's continued that relationship.
Right.
But Will probably just needs to just be alone for a while, as well as his partner, because as we all know, last week it was a new series of Red Table Talk, and she briefly mentioned the incident, but it's really sad. I mean, I liked Red Table Talk prior to this.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate that people are really viewing Miss Jada in a not so favorable way. In fact, I saw an interview that Chris Rock's mother did over the weekend.
I did too. I saw that same interview. Right. Yeah.
I was, you know what? After listening to her, I get it. As a mother, she said when Will slapped Chris, he slapped all of us.
Yep.
Just really, you know, she was very articulate. She didn't seem angry. There was really not really emotion from her. She just spoke her truth. And I really believe, unfortunately for this incident for both Will and Jada, I know we didn't want to talk about this, but the fact that he was cited in India, you know, some of our viewers felt it was a publicity stunt. I hope it's not. If he's truly being genuine, then trying to seek help. Right. I want to help. I want to make sure. I want to be authentic and say, please get help. You know, with his wife, she definitely needs help because unfortunately, she's been in toxicity since she came in this world. And it's very difficult to remove yourself from toxicity if you always been in toxicity, if you know what I'm saying.
That's true. But if you really, anybody who's watching this show, and if you're somebody who keeps up with things in history, keep in mind Will and Jada's marriage was in question when they first got together. It was rumored that they both were living alternative lifestyles and they got together to make that Hollywood couple type of situation. Will and Jada have always marched to a different drum than everybody else. And I'm all about individuality and people doing what they need to do. But what got me is when Will's mother said if she could, you know, the news people were saying like if she could get to him and tell him something. Wait a minute, she ain't able to talk to her son and tell him, you know, she said on this show today, like, what if Chris Rock would have failed, you know, or, you know, what if anything could have happened, all that, because I still believe Chris Rock is going to sue his ass. I really do believe that in my heart of hearts. You understand me? Because not only did you disrespect me, you embarrassed me in public. And then the funniest thing is I've been watching old episodes of Everybody Hate Chris and all this, that, and other thing. People slapping and hitting on him and abusing him. So I don't know. This might really be the straw that has broke the camel's back. You know what I'm saying? And then I do think Jada wears the pants in the house. I really do think she wears the pants in the house. I really do.
Without question. And, you know, the bad part about it is this, and this is what we have been taught as women, especially I remember my mom saying this, never emasculate a man, especially a black man. Right. And when you consistently do that, it builds, and then like Mount St. Helens, that person explodes. Right. So I think deep down in a very obscure and very sagacious manner, Jada has been emasculating Will to some degree. I mean, they've been married for almost 25 years. You keep saying publicly that you're still in love with Tupac. Tupac been dead for a long time.
Long time,
Oh,
long time, and
long
let it
time.
go, and let it go,
Let
and
it
let
go.
it go. Yeah, but see, you know what that is? That's let's secure this bag, baby. Let's keep being Hollywood's big stars. Let's keep doing whatever the case may be. When in actuality, if it's not working anymore, go your separate ways. You both have enough money. You both have enough power and autonomy. You could do this to each other and keep walking. You get what I'm saying? And split whatever you need to split. Those children are grown now with their weird selves. So, I mean, you know, whatever it is. And I mean, no diss to the weird kids, but, you know, we know it is what it is. So I just wouldn't, you know, keep being bothered with that particular situation. There were memes saying Tupac faked his death to get away from her. I believe that. I even read an article that said, really, to be honest with you, what Chris Rock said about her being a G.I. Jane, the next G.I. Jane, she really would be a great G.I. Jane with her very strong and dominant and you know, semi-masculine self. So, you know, I think, yes, she would be. So I don't know. I just, as much as I hate this, it still is a dominant story in the world.
I agree, Scorpio. They do thrive on attention. But, you know, the bottom line is there's been rumors that they may get divorced. Now, she's been married to him for that magical number, 10 years. See, after you married for 10 years, she get half your snit, half your pension, everything. So,
and that's okay. That's all right.
Okay, too. If
you know,
sanity is priceless. Peace of mind is priceless.
Right.
I don't care. Let me have my peace of mind. So
that's right. So, all right. Well, today is National Telephone Day. And in honor of the occasion, we are talking about, do you remember your childhood telephone number? And we wanted to talk about some really funny stories of telephones back in the day. Just so you guys know, there are 9.82 billion mobile phones in the world today. That's right. In the world today, there are 9.82 billion mobile phones in use. Now, on the flip side, there are 931 million landlines across the globe. And so I was talking to my friend earlier about the landline situation. Like, I've not had a landline telephone and I don't know when. But I was like, okay, businesses would have to have a landline phone, doctor's offices, places like that. But do people still have landline phones in their home? Do you still have a landline phone?
You know, I did for many years when my father was alive.
Okay.
And after he transitioned, I think maybe 2 years after, got rid of it.
Okay.
And in fact, when I was younger, see, this was when you thought you were something. Now we had 2 landlines, and yes, you know, so I would always give my girlfriends the second number. We had the private number, we had the main number, but I give everybody a second number. And there's a story behind that, because when my parents got married, my dad used to work nights, and my I think my mom would just talk on the phone all day. He was like, enough of this, we getting a landline. And so he ordered the second landline to come through the house, so when he called, she better answer the phone.
So that's what he got the second line for. Oh, okay. No, I remember.
And then when I came along and started talking, I used the second line.
Got you. Okay. Well, I remember we had one phone number.
Okay.
I also remember when people's phone numbers started with the first 2 alphabets. So my aunt's phone number, I remember it just like it. TR3 was her number. Let me see. My home phone number was ST3.
Okay.
Remember when Chicago's only area code was 312? 312 was Chicago's only area code. And when they split it up, my grandmother always said to me, listen, boy, this is when the cell phones first came out and they were splitting up. Always keep you a 312 number. It make you look like you're important. It make you look like you're in business.
That's
right. So that's why I've always had a 312 cell phone number. I remember locks being put on the phone. Now my parents put locks on the phone. But I
I
had
did.
a friend, his mama would put locks on the phone where you could not.
Oh,
Yeah,
but they did that too for a second. It didn't last long. They're like, oh, so we can't. I don't know what we're gonna do about renaming this because I had a phone in my room.
Oh, okay, yes. And then I remember when the telephone did not ring past 10 o'clock at night.
Oh,
If
that's
the
right.
telephone in the house rang past 10 o'clock at night, that meant somebody was dead.
That's
They were
right.
in trouble, but
That's
you did
right.
not call people's houses after 10 o'clock at night. That was
so
a
true.
no-no. And you didn't call before a certain time.
And I kind of keep that rule now. Unless I know, unless we're close, you call me after 10 o'clock and I don't know you, voicemail.
Right. Okay, this is too funny. She said, mine's unhooked the receiver. Damn, damn. Right. And I remember when we did not have cordless phones. Now, did you have a 25-foot phone cord? Yes, you did. And remember when that phone cord would get tangled up and you had to untangle it? Yes. I remember the Princess phones. I remember everybody had the auntie or grandmama that had that bougie telephone that you could never use that phone. Right. It either looked like something from a genie or whatever, but yeah, you could never use that telephone.
My great aunt had that phone in Birmingham. We just had the traditional phone. My mom didn't play that. She's like, I need something that worked. None of that fancy stuff.
Yes. Oh, to kind of, hey, Chef, to kind of no calls before 9 a.m. and no calls after 9 p.m. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. My mother told somebody one time, I'll never forget, we had become teenagers, my sister and I, and my mother, somebody was calling late at night or whatever. And my mother was like, look, honey, this ain't a hotel nor a whorehouse. You cannot call here whenever you want to talk to nobody. And I was like, oh my God, did she say that? She's like, honey, this ain't no hotel or whorehouse. You cannot call folks whenever you want to on my phone. And I was like, oh my God, no, she didn't say that. So yes.
And you remember if you had two lines, there was a little switch on the phone where you could switch over and you could be like the three-way. That's how you did three-way.
Yes, that's how you did. Well, to this day, my aunt, she hates call waiting. She has it and will not. Oh no. She said, I heard it click, click. I'm talking to somebody else. I ain't trying to talk to you right now. I heard it click, click.
My father's rationale was call waiting is that they call, is busy, they wait, and call back. That was his definition of call waiting. I said, Lord.
When was the last time you heard a dial tone? I mean, a busy signal. When was the last time? Right. Can you imagine? Remember, you would call somebody and get a bit. I don't even know if the younger generation has ever heard a busy signal.
Well, here's the deal. I was talking to one of my cousins who's like an aunt in California earlier today, and I was trying to reach her because she had called me yesterday, and I had to turn my phone off because I was working. And it said, the number you have called is busy. Please try call again later. So that happened. That did not happen years ago. You just heard a busy signal. Now you hear automated voice saying the number you've dialed is busy. Please call back.
Yeah. No. Oh,
and it's a landline. So
yes. Oh, I love this. Listen what Preston said. I would call the operator to interrupt your call. Oh my God.
I've done that.
Preston, that's old school. That's old school.
I've done that once.
Yes.
Only
and then
once.
Do you remember? Oh, I used to remember this. You would go someplace, and in order to let your mother or somebody know you were safe or okay, you would place a collect call, ask for yourself, and when they answer the phone, they be like, no, you ain't there. And you usually could say something real quick, or better yet, if they knew, oh no, I'm not going to accept it, that means you made it to wherever you was going. Because I used to do that all the time. And then tell you how old school I am. You only call people long distance on Sundays. Sundays was when you call people long distance. And then when you got
during the week, it costs more.
It costs more. So we would always talk to relatives on Sunday after a certain time in the evening. And then I remember when cell phones had free nights and weekends.
Yes.
Using your cell phone during the daytime was not going to happen unless you just needed to use it. You had to wait to 7 o'clock to call people back. And then if you was dating, you would always say to people, shh, I got free nights and weekends. I'll call you after 7 tonight. We'll
That's
talk after 7. Right. So yes, isn't that something? Yeah, to kind of say it was cheaper on
cheap on
Sundays. Yes,
Sunday.
it
That's
was.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Something else I'm trying to remember. Wait a minute. And the holler while the phone was with you out of town. Yep, and we hollered. Yeah, you sure did. Like, I made it. I made it. I made it, Ma. Right, that type of thing. Ask for yourself and then say you made it. I
Okay.
remember the answer machine. Now, my favorite invention was caller ID
Yes.
because I was young, single, mingling, dating, and talking to people. And I used to have somebody I was talking to that would call me and claim that they were at home at their mama's house. They wasn't feeling well, and not realizing I saw on the caller ID where they were calling from. And then I
Busted.
used to keep the caller ID under the bed. I used to keep the caller ID under the bed. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And let's not forget *69,
Star
*67.
69, star 67. Yep. I remember all of those. Yep.
Because
Absolutely.
I did that when I was dating my ex-husband. He did some stuff and I dialed him. I was like, Negro, don't be lying to me. That's not my number. Yes, it is. I know because I just did *69 on your butt. Okay.
Yep. I met my
Busted.
mama. Look, I'm at my mama's house.
I'm at my mama's house.
And I ain't feeling well. And I can't come over to see you tonight. And I said, you can't? I said, well, that's awfully funny. And then I just waited and let him do it several times. And then I said, well, interesting. I noticed you've been calling me from such and such's number. And baby, you could have took that fool for a nickel. Do you understand me?
Okay.
Right. So the best invention ever is caller ID. And guess whose auntie still uses caller ID to this day? That's the only way she know to call me back if she on her landline and don't want to click over. Yes.
Oh, I don't blame you, Demetri.
I ain't judging you. I ain't judging
a lot of elderly people now to this day still have landlines. And honestly, if you live alone, it's always good to have a landline if you can.
Right. Yes.
But you know, there's no judgment here. It's just
No.
fond memories of having that landline.
Absolutely. My aunt, she hates the cell phone. I bought her a phone, all of that, showed her what to do. She will not, but that landline, she loves it. You know, all of that. So I'm not cutting anybody with a landline. That's just like I was having a conversation with somebody that said, people don't listen to the radio no more, the regular radio. And this is when I was doing my radio show. And I said, no, you got to be joking. I said, my neighbors still listen to a radio. They don't know nothing about iHeart or internet or any of that. I said, these people still turn on something. You still hear static. They do move an antenna.
In my kitchen, I have a clock radio is playing right now because I like music in the house. So I have on 93.9 FM right now downstairs. Okay.
Right. Yep. Here's one. Remember when the operator would interrupt? Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. If somebody needed to reach you.
And I've done that once.
Yes. Oh, well, that was my favorite was the landline with the extra long cord.
That's
the 25-foot cord. The 25-foot cord. Yep. And matter of fact, it was on the kitchen phone. On the kitchen phone. And every now and then you had to unbraid it because it had tangled up and all of that. Yes. Yes. Joseph said, I still have an old school Radio Shack radio that I still play. Yes, absolutely. Yep, absolutely. All right, great memories. Excellent. What else we got in news tonight before our next guest joins us?
Well, we had 420 last week with our guest.
We did. She was incredible.
And she was, we love you, Felicia.
Yes.
But apparently, there's a reason why I'm segueing to this because I guess over last week, the bride and the caterer were arrested because they infused marijuana to the guests without their knowledge at the reception.
Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy? Yes. A woman, where was she?
Florida bride and caterer had been arrested for allegedly serving a cannabis-laced reception dinner to guests without their knowledge.
Yes.
Jocelyn Bryant, the 31-year-old owner of the catering company, and Danya Savoba, the 42-year-old bride, were arrested and charged with delivery of marijuana and culpable negligence under Florida anti-tampering laws. Now,
Right.
I
And
saw
keep
the
in
actual.
mind, Florida is not legal. Florida,
No,
I'm
it's not.
with Takana. Florida is not a legal state for marijuana. So
It's not.
she decides to infuse the lasagna that was served at the wedding reception with cannabis.
Yes.
Everybody that was at the wedding reception all ate the meal. All of a sudden, people became sick. People were disoriented. People were feeling very high and loopy. And the bride thought this was a good idea.
She thought it was funny.
She thought it was funny. And I'm thinking to myself, what about grandma? What about just anybody? There are people who do not indulge. There are people that's just like, I hate for people to come in someplace smelling like marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Like you coming into a public venue and you smelling like weed. I don't get that. You need to, deodorize, put something on, Febreze yourself before you come in. That's so crazy to me.
I just thought that was ridiculous. And they should, that's right, Takana, they should have been, and they were arrested because when I saw the footage and the bride, she really thought it was funny. She just kept laughing.
She really did.
You know what? Let's see how, that's right. Let's see how jail would be. And
absolutely.
The caterer, she knows better than that. She
absolutely.
Better. When you know better, ladies and gentlemen, please do better.
Well, that's a great segue to our guest this evening. We've had her here with us before. We were just talking earlier about how we are all just so stressed out. I had a stressful situation in front of my house last night. When you're just driving in the streets, people are driving like fools. I don't know. And every day I pray. I try to do my woosah. I try to drink me a little beverage to help me. I might even participate in a little 420 if I need to. But the thing is that we are all on edge, and I don't know what we can do. Well, to help us tonight is one of our favorite mental health experts. We just love her here on the show. This is her second appearance. Nya B is originally from the South Side of Chicago. Her backstory is just incredible. But tonight she's here to give us some tips on how we can cut the stress out of our lives every day. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Our girl, the most fabulous Miss Nya B.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. What's up? How you guys feeling?
Wonderful. How are you tonight?
I am good. I'm good. Thanks for asking.
You look as fabulous as ever, and we are so glad to have you here with us again.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yes. So listen.
I love to do best.
Yes, it's talk about how we just need to deal with ourselves. Well, as you heard us saying when you were in the green room, Nya, everybody is just so stressed out between the crime, the carjackings, young people wilding out of control. Our jobs are very stressful. People getting on our nerves. And April is Stress Awareness Month. So introduce yourself to the audience again, and then please try to help us with some tips on what we can do to cut some of this stress out of our lives.
What's up, everybody? My name is Nya B, and just like Chat Daddy said, it is National Stress Awareness Month. And really, this is a time where we just sit back and think about the effect that stress has on us, what it really means, what it does to the body. Not necessarily we're celebrating stress, but we're making aware of what it is and how it affects us, so we can be more mindful. And mindfulness only helps us do this whole thing about acceptance and change at the same time. We got to be aware of what's happening. Our brains, right? So the purpose of our brains, the functions of our brains is to protect us from chaos, right? So I don't know if people know that, but that is the primary function of the brain, is to protect you from chaos. So this is one of the reasons why, if you're like driving somewhere and you're looking for an address and the music is loud, you turn the radio down so you can look for an address, right? That's because the brain cannot use all of its parts if a lot's going on. So it needs peace.
I thought that was me just getting old. I thought that was an old person thing.
It's a natural way the brain responds to chaos. It needs its time to operate, and it needs its space to operate. And I don't think a lot of us realize that, which is why we become so stressful, because we're not allowing the brain to do its thing. We're trying to take on so much at one time, thinking that we can be these superhumans, and our brain's like, no way, absolutely not. I don't work like that. So as we began to bring in more chaos, because like I said, the opposite of chaos is peace. So if your brain is trying to protect you from chaos every day, which is why it sends these signals throughout your body to say, move, wake up, do this, sit down, do that. So if we're telling ourselves negative things, the brain is going to function in that way, which means that we have one or two ways of handling things. We have to look at the way we talk to ourselves about what's happening around us. Okay, perception is everything. So you can say, I'm going to have a great day today, despite what's going on, or you can say, I'm going to have a bad day today. It depends on how you view the world. Now, either one is true.
Right.
Based on how you see it, right? So when you think about the levels of stress, what's going on, one secretes a positive hormone, another one secretes a negative hormone. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to have a bad day today, you just told the brain to be anxious. Okay. So now the brain is going to start secreting a negative hormone called cortisol, right? We know what that is. That's a stress hormone. Right. So when you decide that you're going to have a bad day and you're going to be anxious about it, now your brain is telling, your body, feel anxious, feel negative. So what happens when we start to feel a certain way? Our behaviors will follow. So there's thoughts, which leads to feelings, which leads to actions. Okay. So if we told ourselves, all right, today's going to be a bad day. So now we're anxious. So now we're looking and seeking out everything in the universe to support the fact that we're going to have a bad day. So let's say we get in the car, there's traffic, we spill coffee on us. We just told ourselves, I knew it. I told myself I'm going to have a bad day today. Forget the fact that it's traffic and you have absolutely nothing to do with that. And maybe if you weren't texting and driving, you probably wouldn't have spilled the coffee. But we don't look at it that way. We'll put it out there and say, it's the universe. So look at the added stress we've now given ourselves that was totally unnecessary to begin with. Now, I'm not saying that things that are going on in the world, such as violence, crime, carjackings, look, someone stole my license plate off my car yesterday. And I'm like, I don't know what to do. But I just said to myself, I'm going to just go to the Secretary of State, order a new plate, just be done with it. And I was upset when it happened, but it's gone. What can I do now? What can I do now? So you have to decide what you're going to tell yourself about what is actually happening. So that's one of the first ways to, defeat stress, right? Tell yourself something different about what is happening. There are a lot of things we can do to protect our brains from chaos. That includes what we're watching and what we're eating and what information we're taking in. Life is hard enough. The last thing we need to do is add problems that don't belong to us to the brain. We have to compute our own stuff every day. So how will it benefit our brains, our function? And that's just dependent upon what you came in with, what you were born with, and what you woke up with. Because everybody has not, does not develop the same brain power or the same brain cell. Imagine those who can't comprehend. Their worlds are very chaotic because they can't make sense of what's even going on in front of them. And I tell people a lot of times, we have to consider other people's point of view when it comes to what they're able to understand. Sometimes we get stressed because we're trying to speak to people who don't understand or can't really comprehend. And I'm not saying it in a negative way to put anybody down, but there is a population out there with cognitive delays. But we don't consider that when we're talking to them. We're just like, well, you should know. You're 30, you're 40, you're 50. A 50-year-old should know. Well, see, now you're just adding more stress to yourself because you told yourself what a 50-year-old should know without considering what they're capable of, what their cognitive delays may be.
So Nya, let me ask you this. Does alcohol and drugs play a big part in that? Because a lot of times, I'm not going to lie, I am in that 50 age range. And, you do see people that are older and you can tell they've been through some things, whether it's drugs or alcohol, or it could be just stress or whatever the case may be. But and I'm guilty of that. Like, your ass is too old not to understand what the deal is. You know what I'm saying? So could that be that, maybe some people, it could be a chemical dependency or that they just don't know?
I think there's a mixture. I think, people use drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism, right? So you got to figure out what came first. Was it the cognitive delays? Was it the emotional issues? What happened first? Because unless you were born drug exposed, you definitely don't. You can't say I came into this world with a chemical dependency unless you were literally born with a chemical dependency. Unless the doctors have to really wean you off of drugs because you were, exposed in utero. So that's
Right.
a whole different ballgame. But
Okay.
let's just say that had a pretty functioning upbringing. No drugs, no alcohol. Life just got in the way, right? So
Okay.
when you started telling yourself that it's too much, I can't handle it, I need something to take this away, I need to let this go, I want this to be over. So you go to the first thing that you can think of that's going to give you that immediate gratification. So let's
Mhm.
say you choose alcohol or drugs. And again, it depends on the message that you're telling yourself about the purpose of using this drug or alcohol, right? So I remember when my mom first started drinking, she experienced a heartbreak and she was hanging out with a friend and her friend's like, hey, just have a drink. So she did. And if you get drunk on your first time and you realize like in this moment, I'm not thinking about my heartbreak. Well, now the dopamine that you felt from, you know, getting drunk and feeling good about not thinking about oh boy or whatever it is,
Right.
that's what now you want again and again and again. So now you're like, oh, let me go get a drink. Let me go get a drink because I want that feeling. See, the problem with how the brain works, I ain't gonna say problem, I'll say the important part about how the brain works is that you won't ever get that high again because it's your first time. But you're going to work at trying to have that high over and over again, which is how addiction starts
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
you're addicted to the dopamine, which is a positive hormone. Now, dopamine and the use of drugs, it all secretes the same feeling that it does when you have orgasm,
Okay.
right? So it's all so it can be an addictive thing. That's why you have people addicted to sex, addicted to drugs, weed, alcohol, whatever, because it gives you the same type of joy. But at some point, like anything, your body builds tolerance to it, and
Mm-hmm.
it starts to level off. So now, chemically, yes, something's wrong now because now no matter what people tell you, you are no longer in control. They are no longer in control. So now you're dealing with an addiction that's bigger than you. Now you need medical attention to help wean you off because your
Mm-hmm.
brain is addicted, right? So that's a whole different ballgame, which is another reason why I don't do substance abuse counseling
Okay.
because I am not I don't have I don't think what it takes to fight an addiction. you
Right.
know
Mm-hmm.
so I can work with the reasons the addiction started, but I can't work with you have to go to a medical facility or some treatment facility that specializes in that. That's
Okay.
not my thing, but we can talk about what started it. We can
Right.
talk about,
Yes.
but that is a coping skill I think people use to deal with stress. Yes.
Okay.
And you'll see it in the movies all the time. People are like, I need a glass of wine, I had a tough day, or I need a joint. It's been a rough day. So think about those messages that even the media tells you about how you're supposed to deal with stress.
Right. Right.
So for those reasons, I don't drink or have wine or anything when I'm stressed. I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. Not at all. Because
Right.
I don't want my brain to be conditioned to think this is what I need to go to when I'm
Mm-hmm.
upset.
Very good. I couldn't agree with you more. I tell people, I think when I'm in that situation, I like to sleep things off, if nothing else. That sleep helps me. Kay Renee, where are you at with all of this?
I am just loving this because Naya is speaking truth. See, when people speak truth, I get very quiet, and that's a good thing. So,
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the mindset. What you think about, you bring about. I mean, that's just, it says it in a nutshell. I mean, you talk about addiction to food, same thing.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
If you're down, you pick up a turkey or you pick up some Twinkies, and it gives that feeling. Because myself, I'm an emotional eater, so when I get stressed, that's the
Hmm.
first thing I go to. It's not a good thing, but it is what it is, and I now have to try to control that, because at some point, if you continue to eat like that, you're not going to be healthy.
Right.
But I guess I want to ask you, Naya, how, as you get older, what would you think would be the best stress reliever for people to help them, just cope and not go to medication or go to food or anything like that? What would you recommend?
One of the things that I tell all my clients that come to me, because every situation is different, so I use whatever treatment modality that's best for the client at the time that they come to me and what's best for them depending upon what they like. So it depends on who they are. So I try to give them tools that are useful for them. Like some clients, they don't like meditation or relaxation because they like noise, right? So if I teach them meditation and relaxation, those type of things, it's usually something that would benefit them. So if music is their thing, well, let's find music. Let's find something that will help you de-stress, because that's the whole point of it, is let's figure out how to de-stress. In order to know exactly what we're using, it's just like you have to know, in order to know the solution, you have to kind of understand the problem, right? So it depends on the person. I am, one who I love, you know, being served. That's my love language, acts of service. I'm an acts of service kind of woman, which is one of the reasons why I dine out a lot, because there's something about somebody bringing me my food that makes me feel so good. It's just,
Hmm.
hey, do you need anything else? I swear, I'm gonna give me a chauffeur of somebody to carry my bags, like all that. That's what I see myself at 70 in my little high rise with
Right.
somebody serving me. Like, is there anything else you need, Miss Brown? Anything. That's
Yes.
that's my love language, right? So you need to figure out what your love language is for self. We talk about what our love language is for our partners, but you also have love language for yourself. And
Yes.
that is very important when it comes to de-stressing. I love, for people who also love physical touch, hot showers, the pressure from the shower head, you
Yes.
know, it's amazing. It's amazing. So just even the
Mhm.
type of shower head you have can help de-stress you.
Mhm.
Um, being able to take in scents and smells. If you are a scent person, think about the strength of lavender. That works wonders. Aromatherapy is a thing. Light therapy is a thing. That's why, when you have light, your brain wakes up. People don't realize that. But your brain wakes up, it's activated. So let's say, for instance, you can't sleep at night and you decide you want to get up and grab your phone. Wrong thing to do, because now it's activating your brain to wake up. So you're going to be up a little longer, and then you find that once you put the phone down, you get ready to go back to sleep. And that's around the time it's time for you to get up. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Right.
so, I will say that in the event that you're stressed, figure out what your internal love language is. What do you like to give to yourself? What do you like to provide to yourself? And expand on that. Figure out what that is for you. If you love the smell of nice things, you have a favorite color, you have a favorite, taste, make sure that you're intentional about indulging in certain things, not necessarily food for comfort, but there's so many layers to us that we don't tap into, that we don't realize that we really, really enjoy. Um,
Hmm.
and I think that that's important for de-stressing. Watch what you look at on TV. Watch what type of music you listen to. If you're listening to aggressive music because you're aggression or you're aggressive yourself or you're hurt, that's only going to increase your need for aggression. You
Right.
know,
Right.
if you have to listen to something that provokes the opposite emotion. So I'm
Yes.
really big on not using my brain when I'm off work. So Beauty and Beast is one of my favorite movies, my favorite Disney movies. And I like the cartoon, the original version that came out in the
Mhm.
90s. I will
Yes.
sit there and I will watch it over and over again. And I will sit there and just kind of sing all the songs in the movie, because that's
Yes.
that's how I de-stress.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
again,
That's yep.
and sometimes I tell people all the time, watch cartoons, get a coloring book,
Oh
you know,
yes.
get massages, you know, um,
Hmm.
like I said, take hot baths. It is
Hmm.
perfectly fine. Nice long hot showers, listen to music, just go for a walk, sit on your front porch, call your friends, have coffee. Like there's so many different things, but you got to know yourself in order to know. You know how many people I meet that come to session and don't even know what makes them happy? They're like,
Yep.
I don't know.
I believe
I
Yep.
it.
don't know. For me. I don't know what I like. I don't know what I like. So now we got to start from scratch.
Right. Right.
Right.
I couldn't
So
agree with you more.
de-stressing is just about bringing your brain peace. What is going to bring your brain peace right now so you can settle down and you can rest and you can think about what the next step is? So many times we're thinking about, problems, but we don't think about solutions. For every problem,
Mhm.
there's a solution.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes, we have a couple of questions before we let you go. Is that okay?
That is perfectly
We
fine.
have one that says, "Can children be stressed by their parents and cause constipation?"
Money.
Interesting.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You
Okay.
know how many children I teach to survive their parents? I have to teach them how to survive bad parenting or just parents who stress them out. Because people will tell kids that they not stressed. They don't. A telltale sign that your child is stressed is when they're constantly complaining of headaches and stomach aches, and you know that they
Mm.
haven't eaten anything wrong or there's nothing going on, and they're like, my stomach hurt, my head. Your child is probably stressed and they're dealing with anxiety, and they don't recognize that the bubble guts is really nerves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't realize
Mm.
that the increase in heart rate is your body's way of telling you, hey, this is not cool. The sweaty palms, the headache, that's tension, the tense muscles. There are so many ways that your body tells you that something's wrong or that something's not right. But we'll ignore it and just, oh, I'm gonna go lay down, or I'm gonna do this. I promise you, I had a client that came to me and she was having some serious symptoms. She was like, I have constant headaches all the time. I can't sleep at night. She just could not function and she didn't know what was going on. She thought it was just psychosomatic symptoms. And so I'm like, ask her typical day. I said, what's a typical day like for you? Start from the beginning, go to, so we go through her typical day. And the only common denominator was her mother. So I said, go a week without talking to your mother, just a week, and tell me what happened. When I tell you, she had not had any headaches, she was sleeping better. And so once we tried to explore what the issue was, she was like, every time I talk to my mom, I feel like I have to be perfect. I can't make a mistake. She's constantly judging me. She's, telling me I need to hurry up and get a man. When am I going to have kids? When am I going to do this? And her mother was the source of her stress because she was like, oh my God, I don't have an update for my life for her today. She calling today to make sure I got another man and some kids. I don't, and and it was, so what she had to learn to do was just be honest and be an adult. You're not a kid anymore. You're
Right.
not a kid anymore. So
Right.
just
Mm.
being honest and being an adult and standing up to her mom and setting a boundary and say, look, mom, I'm okay being single. I'm not going to give you any grandkids anytime soon. And you're going to have to love me anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Headaches, stress, gone. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was fine. Like fine.
Wow.
But
Right.
yeah,
Yep.
it makes a
Yep.
huge difference.
Yep. Yep. No, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, absolutely. Ursula said Netflix will mess up your sleep. Yeah, if you sit there
And
and
that
keep
that
watching it,
that
right.
and TikTok. That's
Yeah.
another one.
I love it. TikTok. Love it.
Okay,
Love it.
real quick before we go, because on my other pages, a lot of people are talking about the not being able to sleep thing. And a
Mhm.
confession is that, I'm not able to sleep good. I don't feel like I get a deep sleep anymore. And I go to bed and before I know it, it's time for me to get up. I don't feel well rested. Is there anything that you can do to help people like us? Is it something we should stop doing? And then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, I think that having a nighttime routine, having a routine from beginning to end is important. And you have to be mindful of what's on your mind? What is it that you're not dealing with? What is it that you're not addressing? And what is this to-do list that you're going to bed with in your head? Because a lot of us go to bed with a to-do list, and that's not healthy. When we're done for the day, we're supposed to be done for the day and pick up the next day. But a lot of us are going to bed with tasks. Oh my God, I forgot to do this. Oh my God, did I do that? Oh my God, okay, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Well, if that's the case, you're going to be up in the middle of the night because your brain is trying to figure out how to protect you from the chaos of your task list that you went to sleep with.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're
Mm-hmm.
up. So I would suggest maybe 2 hours before bed, start a routine, whether it's stretching, your hot bath, whether it's, again, you need to regurgitate all of the work of the day before you go to bed. And you
Mm-hmm.
can do that you can have chamomile tea. You can, if you're not a tea person, hey, figure out maybe some water, maybe, like I think initially some people may use melatonin. I do think that there's natural supplements and things like that to kind of help you get a jump start so you don't have to use medication. But
Mm-hmm.
I do think you have to deal with that chaos, whatever that is. The reason why your brain is overworking is because there's something that you're not dealing with every day that you go to bed with.
Mm.
And
Okay.
it's going to
All
deal
right.
with you if you don't deal with it.
Lord have mercy. We're gonna pass the collection plate because the Reverend just done told us. The Reverend just read us. Right, because I know a lot of people who are in this situation right now. And since the pandemic, it has actually made it worse. It really has. So I appreciate that advice. Kay Renee, what do you want to say in closing to our guest tonight?
Just adore you, Nya. Thank you for always speaking your truth. And I can't wait for you to come back. to
I
chat
Yeah.
with
can't
us.
wait to be
again.
back. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
I
she
appreciate
gonna be
you
a
guys.
regular on here until she get tired of us. You know, all of a
That's
sudden
right.
Oprah gonna discover her, and then she gonna be on the Today Show and all of
I'm
that.
ready. I'm
Yeah,
ready.
yeah,
I'm ready.
but
Don't
look,
forget
don't
to catch
forget
me
your
on Fox.
relatives. Right, yes.
I'll be on Fox on Mother's Day. I'm
Oh,
doing
that's
Mother's
right.
Day segment.
That's right.
So
Yes,
yeah,
very good.
I'll
Tell
be
everybody how they
Mother's Day
can
style.
find you, follow you, all of that great stuff.
You guys can follow me on Instagram at author_Nya_B. And you guys can check me out at Nya-B.com.
Yes, very good. Well, we love you to no end. You always just do a great job when you're
Yes.
on here with us. Happy Mother's Day to you and all that great stuff. We'll be watching you on Fox on Mother's Day. I promise you
Yes,
I
that.
we will.
appreciate you. Thank you guys. Love you too. And I cannot wait to come back.
Yeah,
All right.
amen. Oh, look, everybody wait, you got a lot of comments coming in.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes, she
that's
is.
right. She
Yes,
hot.
yes,
Thank
she
you
is.
guys.
We
Thank
agree.
you.
Yes. Outstanding job. On my other
Yes.
pages, great info, great guest. You did a great job. We appreciate you.
you.
Oh, wait, hold on. Chamomile tea, Scorpio love. Let's see. Let me see what else is everybody saying. It's going to be dealing
Don't
with.
deal
Yep.
with you if you don't deal with it. Absolutely.
That's right. That's right. Well, Nya B, we love you so much, darling. Thank you. Have a wonderful night, and we'll talk to you next month. Okay.
All right.
Hey,
See you guys
sweetie.
later.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Oh my God. She is so
Whew.
incredible. I know.
Yes.
Look, that was a master class.
Yes, it was.
Yes, that
See,
was a
that's
master
when
class.
I'm quiet like that. That means folks are speaking they speaking truth.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. And
Yes.
she's right. It's just, I tell people I got so much going on right now. Some days I'm just overwhelmed. Other days I'm underwhelmed. And then, when you go, I'm also entering into a new phase in my life, with somebody else. And, and it's a lot. And so that's why I even have to tell my friend all the time, like, listen, just be patient with me. I'm just going through a lot of things right now that need to be sorted out, worked out, and just handled in a different situation. So it is what it is,
Amen.
Well, what a great show tonight. Coming up tomorrow night on the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, we have a guest that will be joining us tomorrow night that he and his wife and the child that was born went on a 5-year journey on a boat. They lived on a boat for 5 years. I'm talking about traveling from place to place on a boat for 5 years. So we're going to talk to this gentleman tomorrow night about his journey. It's the 5-year voyage. Mr. Steve Ladd will be here with us, and he and his wife went out on a 21-foot boat. And they sailed and rowed their way through Latin and South America, coast and rivers. And they're going to talk about everything that happened to them, dealing with the government. I'm even wondering, how do you get mail? How do you, all of that. And then they ended up having a baby while they were out on this 5-year voyage and raised the baby on the boat. Right. And honey, I can barely do a 1-week cruise. I damn near lost my mind on a cruise for 1 week.
I get seasick. That's why I don't do cruises. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go with this Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge tonight. I'm sure you got a good one. It's Monday night. Go right ahead, my dear.
And this nugget comes original from yours truly. And it's Motivational Monday. And I say to all of you, remember, you are not placed on this planet to be mediocre. You were chosen to be magnificent. So do you. Hashtag be magnificent.
All right now. All right. That sounds about fabulous. That sounds about, be the best you can be. For more information, KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com, KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com. That's where you can find out all of her wonderful nuggets of knowledge that she drops every day, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, wherever it is, she drops wonderful knowledge. And you guys need to get some of those nuggets every day. Thank you, darling. We appreciate you so much. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. We have another great show planned for your viewing and listening pleasure. Tuesday night at its best. I cannot wait to talk to Mr. Ladd about being on a boat for 5 years.
He is. Oh my goodness.
Years, not 5 months, but
not
5
days, 5 years,
not 5 days. And
not
imagine
5 minutes.
having a baby, a brand new baby, and being out on the boat. All of that. I'd be worried about seals and lions and tigers and bears. Oh my.
Sharks too.
Yes. Yes. Oh, here's our friend Lynn Klein. Hey, Lynn. Hey, Lynn. How are you, Lynn? So good to see you. She said, yes. Thank you. We appreciate you guys so very much. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. We really appreciate your support. Do me a big favor. If you're not subscribed to the show yet, go to YouTube, Facebook, subscribe to the Real Chat Daddy Show. It's easy. It's simple. Does not cost you anything. Oh, she thinks you're magnificent, darling. Yes, you are.
Yes, she is too, Miss Lynn. You are magnificent.
Lynn is amazing. She is. Yes. Look, I like following her on social media. She stays busy. Debbie Green says rough waters. Absolutely. I can in storms. I can't wait to talk to them about all that tomorrow night. Yes. Thank you, Imelda. We appreciate you. Hey, Carolyn Douglas. We appreciate you as well. Hey, Auntie Carolyn. Yes. All right. So we love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7 o'clock. We'll talk to this gentleman about being on a 5-year voyage on a boat with his wife and new baby. All right. Have a wonderful night. Come back tomorrow night. Hang out with us. We love you guys so very much. The Real Chat Daddy Show, on behalf of yours truly, Chat Daddy and Miss K. Renee, we want to thank you guys and have a wonderful night, right?
Yes.
What do we say at this point? Bye.
Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the